Fire plays a major part in the management of forests in Victoria and other parts of southern and northern Australia, and an important part of our understanding of fire behaviour, both prescribed fire and high intensity fire, is to know what fuel moisture contents are. So in Victoria in the last 4 or 5 years we've been developing a meter which allows us to measure moisture contents between the range of about 3% oven dry and 20% oven dry weight, so that we can better predict the fire behaviour both under wildfire conditions and prescribed conditions. The meter we've developed works on an electrical resistance approach, which is very quick and quite cheap and portable to use. The meter weighs about 4.5 kilograms altogether, consists of 4 major components. There's the grinder, the compression cell, the test cell and the electronic circuitry which both tests the moisture and then stores the results for later review and processing. Initially, we collect the fuel which is on the surface of the litter bed for sampling. We simply switch the meter on, insert the ring for the fuel sample, count the grinder on the test cell, and then grind 4 or 5 leaves directly into the measuring cell. The material is ground with a backwards and forwards motion. And providing there's at least a third of the cell is full, that means there is sufficient fuel there to sample. The actual quantity is not critical. We then screw on a compression tool and wind the compression tool down until it clicks. Once a sample is compressed, we select the fuel type. In this forest, it's stringy bark brown, so 7, and then we take a fuel sample, and the reading is indicated at the bottom, 31.6%. We can either select 0 to save that reading for later storage, or we can push any other key ready to continue with the next sample. The meter gives you the option of 8 fuel types, and we've found 8 fuel types is sufficient to cover a wide geographic range, and that is automatically stored on the machine. If you want to change those, it's a simple process to download other calibrations using a PC. Part of what we're trying to achieve is finding out the variability of the fuel from a number of sites in the forest. So we do a number of samples within the same area. Grind 4 or 5 leaves. This homogenises the material. Make sure we get a good average moisture content. Put on the compression tool, and wind it down till it clicks, which gives you a constant density. Fuel type remains the same. We push the button to take it. Another reading. The answer is 30%. We average that reading with the previous reading, which gives us an average about 30.5%. And that has provided us with a good measurement of surface fuel moisture content on this site. Other features of this meter include the option of being able to include a location identifier like region, block, compartment and coop. You're able to change the date and time on the meter. If you want to clear the memory, you use the reset button, and if you're just testing to see whether or not the meter is functioning properly, there's a test function as well. That's in addition to our sampling and fuel type function. With buttons 6 and 7, they have the dual purpose of being able to review data that's stored on the meter in the field. So by pushing 6, we can actually scroll back through data stored on the meter. The moisture content we have read on this meter can be stored within the meter and later downloaded onto a personal computer back in the lab with full time, date and location details recorded. The meter has the ability to record up to 600 such measurements, and the battery life is something like 15 hours of operating time. If inadvertently the meter is left switched on for more than 20 minutes and hasn't been used, it will automatically switch off to save the battery power. So under normal circumstances, the meter will probably only need recharging every 3 weeks, 4 weeks during the busy season. The meter, we think, has will enable us to do much more sophisticated burning, for example in heathlands, in pine forests, and more complicated fuels than we've managed in the past. So all in all, the response we've had back from people who've been field testing this meter has been very positive, with the hope of when can we get more of these meters. We expect the meter to cost in the vicinity of $2,000 when they're finally produced, which is quite reasonable given that that's about the cost of our current meters, the Speedy moisture meter and the Marconi moisture meter. But it's purpose built and has many more facilities than those. So we think that we've achieved our objective of having a good operational field tool for fire managers.